Hello everyone, in this video we're going to see the solution to the Codeforces problem B, Nastia in a good array of round 720 division 2. Okay, so Nastia has an array of n positive integers and the array she calls as good if all the adjacent elements ai and ai minus 1 have the greatest common divisor as 1, meaning that they're co-prime. So every adjacent elements in the array should have the greatest common divisor as 1 and so the array will be good. Okay, we can perform this operation. We can select two different indices I and j and two integers x and y, and I can change a of I to x, a of j to y, such that minimum of a of I comma a of j is minimum of x comma y. So that means that except for the minimum elements of a of I comma a of j, the bigger element I can replace with any element. And I have to make the array good using at most n operations, and I have to say how many operations I used and what I replaced ij, a of I, a of j with. Okay. So let's just take a look at a test case. So we have 9, 6, 3, 15, 11, 15. Okay. So let me write this array again and show how we're doing the operation. So how we're doing the operation is that if I'm taking these two indexes, then I can change these two to any other two elements, but I have to keep the smaller element, I have to keep 6. So I can change 9 to anything else, right? So I can make this 11, 6. This is correct because these two I changed to these two and the minimum of them are same. Or I can even do like this 6, 11. It doesn't matter as long as the minimum element is the same. Okay. And what I have to do is I have to make the array good, meaning that for every adjacent element, GCD is 1, meaning they are co-prime. Now let's take a look at one thing. If I have x and y, two numbers, and if x is a prime number, then these two will have the GCD as 1. These two will be co-prime, right? Or if y is prime, then both of these will be co-prime, right? So the bigger number of x and y, if it is prime, then both of them will be co-prime and both of them will have GCD as 1. So my point is, if I can take these two and I can replace one of them with a prime number bigger than its adjacent element, then both of them will have the GCD as 1. So what I'm saying is I can take x, which is a prime number bigger than 6, and I can put that here. Then I can take again same prime number, it doesn't matter, and then I can put it here and I can put that here. And so these two, and these two will be co-prime. They'll have GCD as 1. Okay, but you have to be careful while choosing x, because x, the prime number, should be greater than all the other elements of the array. Okay, so for that you don't need to do anything extraordinary. You can see that the array elements go up to 10 to the power 9. So I just want x as a prime number. So x is a prime number greater than any other number in the array, because like I said, in any two elements a and b, if the bigger number is a prime, then both of them will have GCD as 1. So x as a prime number greater than 10 to the power 9. Now to find this, you can simply run a code from 10 to the power 9 to 2 into 10 to the power 9 or something. But a common knowledge, and as a competitive programmer you should know this, that a number bigger than 10 to the power 9 and a prime number is simply 10 to the 9 plus 7, which we use as mod in a lot of problems. So x I'll be using as this, okay, 10 to the power 9 plus 7. Now how I'm going to replace? I need to replace it as the first element, right? So what I'll do is I'll check which is the minimum. Minimum is 6, so I'll put 6 here and I'll put 10x here, 10 to the power 9 plus 7. Now I look here, which is the minimum? Minimum is 3. So I want to keep the minimum, so 3 I'll put here and here I'll put x. Quite simple. Now again from here I'll check which is the minimum. So the minimum I'll put where I need to, and the other part I'll put x, and that's all you have to do. And how many operations will be there? So suppose you have a, b, c, d. So I'll be changing these two and I'll be changing these two. So if n is even, so you'll have n by 2 operation. But if n is odd, so a, b, c, d, e. So I'll be changing these two, I'll be changing these two, and I'll also be changing these two. So if n is even, then the operation will be n by 2 plus 1. Okay. So that's all I'm doing. and I'll just show you guys how it's running with just this as example, and then I'll go to my code and you can take a look at it. Okay, so I'm replacing it by 10 to the power 9 plus 7, and these are my indexes. So I'm replacing 9 and 6 by this and 6. Okay, now 3 and 11 I'm putting here 10 to the power 9 plus 7, and I'm putting here as 3. Okay, now in this I have to put 10 to the power 9 plus 7 here, so I'll keep 3 here, and here I'll put 10 to the power 9 plus 7, and this will be my array. I'm using 3 operations and I'm changing it like this. So if you got confused, don't worry, you'll get a better idea by looking at the code. So this is my code. So yeah, but if n is 1, yeah, you need to make sure of one thing. If n is 1, because the length of the array can be 1 also, if n is 1, then you don't need to do any operation, you can simply say 0. So just get that out of the way. So if n is 1, 0, continue. Like I said, if n is even, you need to make n by 2 operation, else n by 2 plus 1. Now, like I said, you have to just simply go to this and to this and to the last element, right? So what I'm doing is I have a loop from 0 to n and I is equal to I plus 2. Now this is for the last, in case I end up on the last index. Else what I'm doing is I'm changing I plus 1 to 10 to the power 9 plus 7, and I plus 1 plus 1. I've added plus 1 because the indexing is 1 base, don't get confused by this. So the first element I've changed by 10 to the power 9 plus 7. The next element I've changed by whatever is the minimum of a of I comma a of I plus 1. And if I come to the last element, then what do I need to do? I need to change this one itself by 10 to the power 9 plus 7, and this one by whatever was the minimum of the last two elements. Okay, and while changing, make sure you keep on updating the array, else you'll have a problem at the end. So that's all. What I did was simply I took a prime number greater than 10 to the power 9, which came to be 10 to the power 9 plus 7, and at every adjacent element I changed it to make sure that uh, at every element leaving 1 will have x. So like x here, and x here. And to change, we can simply change a couple of numbers. We can change two numbers by, and we can take one of them and change it to any number. So I'm changing that to x. So that's all. You can take a look at the code, and if you have any doubts, just put them in the comments. I'll be sure to answer. Thank you.